Hello everybody, this is Billy Abildgaard with Digital Realty. I am not only the real estate broker, but also I like to consider myself as a knowledge broker. So I like to get everyone up to date with what's going on in the market, how to learn about homes, how to evaluate homes. So today what we're doing is we're jumping in and looking at the market report for November of 2021. There's a bunch of interesting insights here, and we've also started to add some cool new part, which is some top news. So just to jump right into it. So for the monthly market insights report, so for single family homes, there was the most ever active in November. And the sales price for the median sales price reached a new high of $750,000. And again, this is for the greater Boston area specifically. And if you want me to do a more honed in on version for specific towns or other areas, let me know. Glad to do that. But this is kind of just where our basis is around. So the median sales price jumped up. That's a 7.1% increase from November of last year. So again, as we saw with maybe some of the warmer months, there was bigger year-over-year increases. So we see, again, typical, and this time of the year, things are starting to cool off a little bit. So for condominiums, they also reached a new sales high for the median price, which is around $626,000, and that's an 8.1% increase for November from November of the previous year. And for the amount of condos sold in November of this year, 2021, this was the second most active condo market for November on record. Again, it's a 10% increase from the number of units sold of November 2020. So a ton of interest in condos. We're seeing that, even with myself and my team here, with the people that we're working with, a lot of interest in condos right now. So what's going on, and why is there such an interest in condos? I think as the pandemic is starting to subside a little bit, I know we've kind of got these waves, but I think what's happening is people are now less scared to go back to cities and areas that are a little more densely populated, like condos, which are usually more in suburban and urban areas versus, initially everyone wanted single family homes. Get away from everybody, get a ton of space, big yards, stay away from me, neighbors. And we're starting to see that that's starting to subside a little bit. And now, as people are getting a little bit more comfortable, there's more interest in the condo segment. And so for multifamily homes, there was, again, the numbers of multifamily homes sold in the greater Boston area is dwarfed by the numbers for single-family homes and condos. But what we see is that there was a 20% increase in units sold this year compared to the same for last year. That's not surprising to me at all. I think what that we can map that to is really last year was a really low year because a lot of people were nervous. We had the eviction moratoriums. There was not a lot of landlords that were looking to get into the game. And again, now that we're seeing, potentially the light at the end of the tunnel, and we're getting more comfortable, more people are willing to get into those types of investments and houses. So for some top news here for the month, the Consumer Price Index, which is inflation, jumped up to a absolutely steamy 6.8%. And again, if you remember from October, it was 6.2% increase from October. So now it's continuing to rise. So for November, 6.8% year over year inflation. It's just absolutely astronomical. So yeah, there's a ton of factors that go into that. We're not going to get into that this month, but just know that, when you have a house that's continuing to appreciate because of this inflation, you've also got your fixed mortgage rate, hopefully, which is, so you are just making a ton of money right now if you're a homeowner. And if you're not, now's a great time to get into the game before this continues to keep climbing. So other notable news for November, Zillow announced that they were shutting down their program for buying houses. What does that mean? So they had a very popular, what they called Zestimate. And, I think it's kind of an open secret in the real estate industry that that's not always super accurate. So what we're seeing is that's kind of been exposed now. So the result of that is Zillow has been losing a lot of money. They've been trying to use their algorithms to buy houses, to basically flip them. And their housing segment, it's called Homes, the Home segment. So for the last couple of years, it's been losing money, and those losses have only continued to expedite. So losing $312 million in 2019, $320 million, sorry, important differentiator there, in 2020. And they're their losses just basically started to run away. So their deficit for 2021 was $539 million, and that was only through the first 9 months of the year. So not even for a full year. So, and as a lot of people know, this was a pretty hot market for being able to sell properties. So if their losses are continuing to grow in arguably one of the hottest times to ever sell a house in real estate, that's not good. At least they had the wherewithal to figure out, like, hey, this isn't kind of our bread and butter. We should just kill this thing before we lose even more money. So just that was kind of notable in the real estate industry. So now jumping back into kind of the area that we are, which is the greater Boston area. So this is just looking at the units sold. So month over month, and again, we saw this in the overview, single family homes were up 1.4%, condominiums were up 10.3%. So we saw, compared to October, a big dip from October to November for single family homes, and for condos, it was actually a little bit of a climb. And for median selling price, again, we touched on this earlier, a little bit earlier, just quickly. So just to go through that again. So year over year for single family homes, about a 7% increase in price, which is the new high, and similar for condos. Again, this is the new high for the median sales price, $626,000 for condominiums. Comparing that to October, the prices were continuing to go up a little bit. And moving on to active listings. So this is saying, like, hey, what's actually on the market right now for people to be looking at? So for single family homes, basically inventory is just getting absolutely demolished across the board in basically all aspects of it. So single family homes down 33% from this time last year. Same thing with condos, again, down 38%. The month supply of inventory is continuing to go down. So really what we see there for the month supply of inventory is it's just getting more and more competitive. So that's not what we want to see necessarily when we work with buyers. So that means that there's more buyers that are looking to buy. Basically, this results in more offers on a single property. And again, even comparing the inventory from November to the previous month of October, that continues to be down. So from having the inventory decrease from October to November is not surprising, but really we can see the year-over-year statistics. It looks like things are continuing to get low. So that's going to continue most likely to carry into the new year. So we're going to see a hot market for sellers in 2022 as well if this trend continues. And again, month supply of inventory. So what we can see here kind of on the right side is we had some hope here in August and September. Things were looking good. And then in October and November, things just kind of started to plummet again. So not surprising, if you have a place that you were thinking of selling, you're better off waiting until the springtime when the price per square foot's a little bit better for you. But from a buyer's perspective, year over year, this is definitely a new low, and it's competitive out there. So I would say, maybe a couple years ago, we would say, like, oh yeah, you should start looking for your house maybe 1 or 2 months before you're looking to potentially get something. Now I'm recommending that people are actually start their search even earlier, right? So I'd say 3, 4, even 5 months ahead of when you say, if you have a lease that's ending, you want to give yourself a ton of runway, because you might need to put in, probably a dozen offers in some cases before you actually get an offer accepted. So for new listings, this is listings that were not on the market previously that are now on the market. Again, similar with the previous statistic we saw with the active listings, this is continuing to drop. So single family homes, they're down 6.9% year over year. Condominiums are down 10.2%. And then if you look compared to month over month with October, things are down almost by 33%. So again, we're starting to get into a pretty low inventory area. And that's definitely not great for the health of the market in general. So for multifamilies, we're just taking a quick look at these. Most of our statistics are, again, single family homes and condominiums, just because that's kind of where most of the movement is and most people are interested. So if you are in the market for a multifamily home, you can see that the median sales price went up 11.6%. There were also more units sold that went up. But again, same situation that's happening with single family homes and condominiums. We're seeing that the active listings is down almost 30%, and month supply inventory, so that kind of shows how competitive a market is. That's down 40%. So again, it's continuing to heat up in pretty much all aspects of the real estate space in the greater Boston area. And we can see that that's actually reflected as well in the bottom rows here for sale original price ratio, and then the price per square foot. So we're seeing that this is going up as well. So again, for the price per square foot, that's gone up about 13.8%. That's pretty much in line with the median sales price, so that does make sense. And for the sales price to original price ratio of 100.4%, so that's saying that offers are going for slightly over asking price compared to what they were with the year previous. And again, looking at the same metrics for single family homes, we went over a lot of these things already, but this is kind of just a nice way to have all these in a little summary view for you. And yeah, so we can see that the sale price to original price ratio down here, I'll move my face out of the way for you so you can see a little bit better. Yeah, so the sold to original price ratio is 102.2%. So what that means is that offers are going for above list price. So the if a house is listed for some amount of money, say $500,000, this means that they're going to get roughly 2% more on the offer that they accept compared to the price that they're listing it for. So this is continuing to show that it's a competitive market out there, and this is up about 1% from November of the last year, and it's in line with October from the previous year, from the previous month. So the price per square foot, that's up 10% for single family homes, which is a little bit above the median sales price, but again, that really depends on the average size of homes that are being sold. And for the condominiums market summary, again, we're just going to jump to the bottom two rows here because that's really the stuff we haven't covered in this presentation at this point. So the sold to original price ratio, again, we can see that it's pretty much in line with what it was in October. Looking at the month over month statistics, we can see year over year it's gotten a little bit hotter. But so for condominiums, they're still going for slightly below asking price in the general greater Boston area, but I'd say from my experience working with people right now in this space, we're seeing that that's really kind of on a per condo basis. A lot of them are still going for over asking price. So this is really probably mostly town dependent. And again, we're painting with pretty broad strokes here because of the entire greater Boston area, which is made up of 64 different towns. And so yeah, price per square foot, again, that's up about 10%, which is pretty close to the median sales price. And yeah, so this was kind of our dive into the market status for November of 2021. If you have any questions or there's any information that you'd love to see, feel free to reach out or comment. We'd love to get that information for you. So thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.